Welcome to the Point Blank Voices podcast. I'm Kaelyn Spike. I'm a student here at Point Blank, and today we're going to be discussing technology and trends within the music industry. And I've got the lovely Graeme, Tomas, and Gerrard joining us to talk about this topic today. So I think I'm going to jump right back to the start and talk about how you first all got into either producing or mixing, making music.
For me, I kind of my initial interaction with it was when I was 13. And I went to every 13-year-old teenager listening to Skrillex for the first time. You know what I mean? I'd be like, wow, this is so cool. I need to learn more. And then I begged my mom to give me one of those little launch pads, the Novation launch pads, because I wanted to make beats with that. And then I was like, this sucks. And so I stopped doing it for a while. And then I went to university in the Netherlands and started DJing a little bit, and then just kind of fell way deeper into electronic music and production at that point. So kind of started at 13, then dropped it off, and then 18 onwards, I kind of went a bit deeper into it, yeah.
That's cool. I think you're pretty similar with the electronic vibe. How did you first start, Graeme?
With electronic music or music period? Music period, I just grew up in a really musical household. At a very young age, just played all sorts of instruments, every sort of family event, my whole family played instruments. So did that. It wasn't until, I was about teenager, probably 15, 16, I got my first DJ mixer. It was like a wedding DJ mixer. It was 2 CDs. It was a Newmark CDM1, and cheesy little thing. It only had one set of EQs, crossfader. That's about all you had with it. And yeah, that was kind of my first step into the electronic music world. That and a pirated copy of FL Studio.
That's cool, yeah. I mean, it did the job though, didn't it? So I guess kick-started your career. And then, Gerrard, you have kind of a different style of music, but you've been producing on a DAW as well. How did you first get into music? Were you in a similar musical household as well?
Yeah, I was in a musical household. I was quite musical when I was younger, but I kind of got into sound engineering and music production through an older friend of mine. I was probably about 13 or 14 at the time. Shout out Mischief Daniel. He took me to his house and he just had a setup, and he recorded me, and it was just awesome, man. Being young as I was, I just came home, picked up little bits and pieces, had my PC mic and hanger, put a tights over it, and just made some bootlegs studio at home. And I think I used Acid Pro at the time. That was my first DAW, and literally was just sold in it from there. And
yeah, well, again, helped you where you are now. And I was going to say, so what gear do you use now? What is your essential pieces of gear now? It's not tights anymore.
Currently I just have a basic setup at home. So I've got mic, pop shield, audio interface, a MIDI keyboard. I've got a piano that I have set up as well, and I'm currently trying to integrate an MPC Live too as well into my workflow, and that's it.
That's cool. Pretty basic, but it definitely sounds great. So Graeme and Tomas, you both kind of are more DJ production kind of style. So I'm guessing you'll have a couple more bits of gear, one of them that you've brought with us today. So, but what are your essential pieces of equipment that every DJ or every producer needs to have?
DJ equipment is so much more accessible now, and you can get such more versatile equipment for so much cheaper. I think I spent $200 on that one that I got, and for $200 now you can get a DDJ 400, which you can have hot cues, memory cues, and things like that. So you can get started at a much lower cost. But, the bar for entry is much lower now on the DJ side of things, but also the production side. And then, you can just, there's so much more stuff that's available right now. You can get a keyboard, a launch pad, anything like that. So I would say there isn't, a quintessential piece that you have to have, which I'm the worst person to ask this because I have gear acquisition syndrome all the time. I love buying synthesizers. I love all the gear, but really I don't feel like you have to have those things. I feel like a lot of it is getting things that are effective in what you do.
It depends on what you want to do. right? If you want to focus more on DJing, like focus on getting more like DJ related stuff. If you want to do like a bit of a hybrid setup, then maybe look into like both aspects. Like get a launch pad, plug it into your like DJ mixer, and kind of like you got the best of both worlds. You know what I mean? Like, but kind of like to build on what Graeme said, if like 100%, like if you are buying gear like first hand, like retail, you're just making like a big mistake, to be honest. Unless you really want like something that just came out, like Facebook Marketplace is your best friend, eBay is your best friend. Like there is no reason why you should be purchasing stuff for like their like retail price when you could be saving so much more and buy like a lot more things.
Especially if you're a student, like you don't have that money. Like
yeah, student, even professional, to be honest. Like there's nothing stopping you from just using your laptop.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
software has gone a long distance since the like early 2000s. You can just do anything you want. It's like it's beautiful, really.
And you might not need as much gear now, but sometimes, as you're saying, like you do get that kind of syndrome where you feel like, oh, I really want to get this cool new gear. So I think this is a perfect opportunity to show to you guys what cool, crazy gear that Graeme has brought in today. It's called an oddball. So thank you for bringing that in. It's kind of used for more like, do you use it for more live or for production?
It could be used for both. It is, so what it is a bouncy ball. Kind of like a racquetball, but quite a bit heavier.
It's like paddle. Use it for paddle. You know?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if you hit this with a racket, you'd probably blow right through it. But, come on, get it.
Quick.
Oh. So right now, we've got it hooked up to, normally it hooks up to an app, but right now I have it hooked up sending, what it is a single note, number 60 note, and it does variable velocity. So you can have it in your hand and just do little taps. You can kind of clap with it. And, you know, the possibilities are endless because really all it is just a trigger signal. But you can tell Ableton to do different notes. So you can have it, you know, kind of work up and down a scale. You know, you can do, let's do something. We had it just on drums. So let's do something a little bit more melodic.
So it would actually be quite helpful if you was like a solo artist and you kind of wanted to use it live as well, though.
Yeah,
it would be. I mean, it would look quite odd you bouncing it around a room, but
Throw it
like
at the crowd.
Yeah, do like a crowd dive with the ball on the top.
Just throw it as hard as you can. Be like, yo, listen to this.
It's kind of like one of those novelty sort of things, and it's kind of gimmicky in a way, but really the limitations are you.
It's the precedent it sets as well, you know.
Yeah, and so I feel like there for a while, electronic music definitely lacked that sort of like interaction thing. And so there's been this massive insurgence of live acts in the last decade. And so many more of them are incorporating these MIDI devices where it's more interactive. I saw Kink over the weekend. I've seen him a few times now, but he always has this element of being more interactive with the crowd. He has like a little velocity thing that what he'll do is use it as a clap or a shake or something like that.
It's just a nice way to like engage with your audience, I feel like, which is a really cool thing to do, because I think that's going to be quite different, because as a singer or a performer, you're kind of giving out to the crowd, but as a DJ, sometimes people can think you're quite conformed to like one area, but if you're then interacting and using different forms of engagement, that can be almost like a different level. But speaking about like different instruments and different ways to incorporate things, you've all mentioned as well that you play an instrument or a few. Have you ever, or are you looking to like incorporate that into your production style? I'll start with you, Gerrard.
Yeah, like I'm currently doing piano lessons, so most people are using a MIDI keyboard, so that's what I use currently at the moment. And lately I've got MPC Live 2, which I kind of want to use, probably not what most people use it for, which tends to be like sampling, but I want to use it to have a more of a hands-on approach when I'm doing my drums. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I think it's also really cool when I see people using like just actual keyboards for music and use them as a piano instead of just like, again, like as you're saying, like using them for sampling. Like I think I saw like a clip of like Tyler the Creator like ages ago using like the keys, and it just sounded like this perfect melody over this something he'd already produced. Like what do you kind of use your keys for as well? Is that more sampling or?
My keys, I've got a digital piano, So that's quite useful. It's got the hammer action, full hammer action. So, you know, if I'm improvising something in, it just feels a bit better.
So what does it do for people who don't understand that?
For people that actually play piano, there'll be a notable difference between like a MIDI keyboard that doesn't have any weighted keys on, and sometimes that can take away from the playing experience, especially if you're accustomed to having that weight on the keys.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's more realistic then, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's more realistic.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. What about any of you two? Have you kind of? Because I think you both play. Do you both play keys, guitar, and drums? You do drums.
I'm drums only.
Drums only.
I don't feel comfortable enough saying I play piano. I took guitar lessons when I was like 8, and then I was like, this sucks. I want to be a drummer instead. And then I did drums for like 10 years. And so for me, like, yeah, drums is definitely something that I want to incorporate in my own recordings. I never did before because I never really had my own set of drums. I used to have these electric drums until like I lend them to like a friend of mine. He like somehow lost them. And so, yeah, right. Like, how'd you lose such a big like piece of equipment? But anyways, and so yeah. So now like for like future projects, I'm like kind of sampling myself like playing. So I would like record like a full set of drums. And then kind of do like, for example, like a jungle track based on it, because
that's so cool, yeah.
Like, because nowadays you have like these re-samples, right? Or you have like the classic amen break.
Yeah.
But at some point it can kind of be like, okay, we know what to expect now. You know, it's just gonna be an amen break. But there's like, I've discovered a couple artists, shout out Dakamera specifically. I really like what he does, where he basically uses real like one shots and samples of like real drummers, real like recordings, but then he just like puts it in like a jungle format, you know, like it sounds incredibly organic. It sounds almost like there's a real drummer playing like that fast. And for me, like, it just changed the way I like view the genre, and it's something that I would like love to incorporate it with myself and kind of do like layers of like, yeah, have like a real snare and then incorporate it with like a really dirty, like overdriven, saturated, like 909 snare, you know what I mean? Like, just kind of combining those two worlds together is something that I would I definitely want to like do in the future as well.
Yeah, I think that's so cool. I think it's going to add like a something new as well, because as you were saying, like, you're going to hear something so many times, and sometimes I think like, because you have to pay for that as well, like you can't just release something really without there's rights to like the almond break, for example. But so I always think like, why don't you just play your own drums? It's going to be like easier surely sometimes if you can do it, which is really cool. And Graeme, have you ever thought of doing something similar?
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah,
you do it a lot.
I guess more specifically, something like maybe newer that I've been messing with is MPE. And so this is basically kind of like a newer, more expressive format for MIDI. So think of like what you were talking about when you press in keys. If you push a little bit harder beyond then, what it can do is open up things like filter envelopes. So you can have it kind of be like an after effect after you've pressed the key, push a little harder and it does the thing. And I had like totally spaced out that my keyboard was capable of that until the other day, where I hit this one note and I was like, man, why does the filter keep opening up on that one note on this clip I had? And then I finally was like jamming a little harder and pressed it really hard, and I was like, oh, this one's MPE. So I've been messing with it a bit more in the last few weeks. So it's like back to like expressive, like making music more expressive.
Yeah.
And
experimenting.
Yeah, and well, making like the production side of it more expressive, because it can just feel a bit robotic sometimes.
Yeah, so obviously your musical style's changed a lot since then, and your musical style has changed probably quite a little bit from recording with tights as well, since you were doing it from so young.
You're never going to
that's going to be a recurring thing now, by the way. Yeah.
Like recording with tights.
Don't rag on the tights as a pop.
No, I don't. I love. No, that's a thing.
It works.
Yeah, it works, man.
It shows your creativity, I guess, you know. So how has it changed since being at Point Blank, or since even at the start? How do you think you've improved, or how do you think your style of music has changed, or has it changed?
I think for me, probably the biggest thing has probably been music theory, and just like some of the terms, you know, that you come across on the plugins and what I think I'm more informed when I'm doing things on the DAW now, and there's so many new plugins that are available that make music production easier. Like, now that I have more knowledge on music theory, that I can navigate around Scalar quite well, which is a plugin that basically it helps you with chords and build chord progressions and kind of thing. And yeah, I think it has improved my production. When I see terms such as like legato or portamento, or just I'm able to navigate better.
Yeah.
On the computer, which was whereas before point blank, I probably wasn't as able to, or probably clueless.
Yeah, you probably have more control over like the whole thing now.
Yes.
You can get really like stuck in, which is really cool.
I'm by no means an expert, but I definitely noticed that I know more what I'm doing now. I'm more informed.
Yeah, that's really nice to see when you can visibly see like your own improvements. Yeah. But talking about changing of style, has either of you two's like style changed at all of like the music that you produce?
For me, it's kind of like my Achilles heel, to be honest. Like it has, and especially after coming to Point Blank, it has made me reevaluate whether or not I actually want to make music as like my main thing, because I've kind of like just like my musical tastes, I guess, just change all the time. Like I never stop liking something. I just want to like discover more, because I find this one song that maybe has like these weird incorporations of like a different genre. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, is there more stuff like this? And then you find something in that genre that you just discovered, and it creates like this like rabbit hole that I love being in. But when it comes to my own production, I just get so kind of frustrated that I cannot incorporate all of these things like together.
At once.
And part of me wants to believe that it's just like an ability thing that like eventually like it will come. But at the same time, I just kind of like put into perspective of like, is this something that I would satisfy myself with? You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like like a battle with myself, you know? And so I just try to find like other ways to kind of like deal with it, you know, like and that's why DJing is like a very important thing to me, is that I can kind of like bring, if it's a more like electronic focused like genre, I can just like mix about it, you know, and put it out there and like do it with friends and so in terms of my own production, I've never actually finished a song like ever, because I've just kind of like I just cannot like I don't feel comfortable like doing it, you know. And it's definitely like a lack of ability, like kind of like what Gerrard was saying. Like I have like basically no background in music theory, and so that definitely has made it a challenge. But I just cannot really I'm not really able to finish songs.
I think it's cool when you fuse lots of different things. I do think DJing is something that can help do that, because obviously the whole art of it is mixing different things together, which is really cool to hear. Graeme, what about you?
I think Tomas is overthinking it. I've heard some of his productions, and he's made some super cool stuff over the last couple of years. And he's there. Just okay, so like here's something I do. I refuse to be pigeonholed. I have gone through so many different roundabout everything. Like I started originally back like mid 2000s making like progressive house and trance. That's what I listened to mostly. And then, I've done deep house, dubstep, loads of different things over the years. And I still make all sorts of random stuff. And it's mostly because I just refuse to be pigeonholed. Obviously, there is a point for branding, but I don't feel like I need to be Coca-Cola. Like, you don't need to come for me for caramel coloring, okay? Like, wow. I have all the things.
The least American expression I've ever heard.
Variety is the spice of life. And, you can have all the different things. Like, you don't have to do too much, but you can have different things. And I feel like that's okay.
And it's good to explore as well.
Things.
Like, it's nice to hear.
Explore.
And I think music artists in general kind of do get pigeonholed, especially when they then get signed to like a label or an agent that like wants to make money, and they're like, well, you need to do this because this is what made your audience grow. But realistically, they want to explore. So it kind of, I see what you mean by
like when
pigeonholing.
people ask me what I make, I usually have to just tell them techno and breaks. That's predominantly what I've always made. But I mean, I go to and make all sorts of stuff. Like, I go to hip-hop shows, I go to R&B shows, I go to jazz shows. Like, I do all sorts of things. I don't really care. Like, music is music. What sounds good is what's good.
Yeah. Well, before we move on to our next topic, I'm going to ask one last question. is there like a piece of technology or equipment that isn't used for music making, but that is essential for you to like create your best work? So like, for example, I heard of like DJs using like a massage gun before a set to like help them relax. Like, is there like a ritual or like or something that you need like
I mean,
that will keep you going?
I mean, you have drugs, but I was gonna say, I was like, if there's one ritual that everyone does, but like, I mean, like, ultimately, it's not a ritual I use, but I was like, there's a very obvious answer here. But in terms of specific things, I don't know. I have like a little like fidget thing. I fidget a lot, so I have like this like one this like fidget like toy thing that I just kind of like have at home. And I just kind of like mess with all the time just to kind of keep me focused. Otherwise, I get like just lost in the sauce.
Yeah, that's the same with me. I have a little fidget cube. I asked for it for my birthday. It's the best thing ever. I love it.
Yeah.
Graeme.
So I don't know. I think like music is my hyperfocus. Yeah, like I have like an RMX 1000. So like while I'm DJing, like
What is that?
so it's like an effects processor. Like I just love all the extra little things, and it's like it gives me.
So you are like a production gear like nerd kind of thing. Yeah,
everything. I love it.
Cool.
Doing like hybrid sets and stuff.
Love it.
Love it. Love it.
Gerrard, what about you? Any other bits of equipment that aren't music related that you just like to have by you?
Not anymore. There was something I used to use before, but yeah.
What was that? Go on, tell us.
It was aforementioned before, but nah, seriously, it's a green tea or something like that.
Keep you going, something to sip on.
Just something to sip on, man. Yeah.
Nice, yeah. That was a bit more lighthearted. Moving on to the next kind of topic, we're going to kind of discuss a little bit more about AI and audio visuals. So speaking of that, like people in general are now using AI to like enhance their work style, like. And obviously it can have good and bad things. But like, how do you feel about this in general, like AI in the music industry, Gerrard?
I think as long as, people's work is being protected, I don't see anything wrong with AI. I mean, I understand that AI has to be trained. So I think if they're using things that they're allowed to use to be trained on, then cool. But I think... yeah, other than that, as long as the people's work has been protected, I have no problem with AI. I think AI is here to stay. So, we might as well utilize it and see where it goes.
Yeah, cool. What about you two? Even any bad or good things that you want to say about it as well?
I mean, the bad is kind of like similar to like everything else, it's kind of that loss of like, of that human touch. When it comes to like art and music and anything in between, AI is just kind of like, it's a double-edged sword. You know what I mean? Like you can do a lot of good things with it. And especially with music, it's still kind of in its early stages. So you have like Suno AI, which kind of like makes you a song in like 10 seconds and you can like write lyrics and it'll even like make a singer for you. But at the same time, I was having a discussion with one of my teachers during class, shout out Mark, where he was talking about basically like some of the things that the human ear perceives are things that the AI will not really perceive as being good in the first place, right? Because you have to remember that AI is about prompts. You have to tell the AI what it is that you want, right? It cannot really make assumptions by itself. Yet, we like certain like resonances and certain frequencies that are not really supposed to go together. We like that sound. We like them like being mixed together. That's what like those little imperfections within like music is like, well, for some people, that's what gives them like goosebumps, you know what I mean? So if you have this like overly clinical like production, like that kind of loses that touch. Like, so how do I feel about it? I don't know. Will I use it? I don't know. Like in my music, I don't think so. At least not now. I don't know. Maybe in the future, like for corrective purposes, like the Beatles did that for their song. Like they had like a really bad John Lennon vocal, and they were like, "This sounds like crap. We cannot use this." And then they used AI to kind of like take away all these like problems that only I could like fix, and then they made a new song. So it has its purposes. I don't know where exactly those purposes should go, but I'm not against it either. Basically, like.
I mean, I use it, yeah. I mean, it's...
I love AI, dude.
It might come from a slight point of bias. My girlfriend just finished her master's in AI and data analytics, and like we're pretty open to using it. It's like anything. It's a tool. Yeah. So it's how do you want to use it? I use Isotopes RX8 for pulling audio apart. I got it years ago, back when it first came out.
What is that kind of about? I think you mentioned to me it was like unbaking the cake. So what do you actually get after using Isotopes?
Unbaking the cake. So taking stems out of a song, a fully produced song, just like pulling all the instruments apart. Like, say I want a sample of the guitars in just a certain point of a song, or the classic one, a cappella. I want an a cappella of a song from the 70s.
Go crazy after AI now.
Yeah,
it's gonna be amazing.
And I mean, when it came out, it was black magic. It was like, whoa. I've also used a few where, you prompt it, tell it to write a song, and it sounded awful. Absolutely awful. I think I just told it to make like a little techno track, and it was awful.
Yeah, they don't.
Granted, like what you were saying, it's always getting better. But I mean, when I tried it, this was just a couple months ago.
No. The like in terms of the music making, it is not good at the moment. Like I asked, like I wanted to test it out to see like, okay, what's the competition like, like. But then when I only asked it to make like also a techno track, and it put vocals in it, even though I was like, I don't want. Then I did another prompt, and I was like, I don't want vocals, and it still put vocals. It's still like very very early stages, but in probably like 6 months, because AI is evolving so fast now.
I think it's like you were saying. I think it's be able to use more oftenly as a tool. Then I don't think it's as good as you were saying, creating new things, because I think being creative is a very humane thing, and as much as like AI might progress, I think it still might get to that stage.
I think in music it will be more corrective than production.
Yeah.
Corrective than creative, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like, again, we've already seen a bunch of tools that are like just insane at correcting, and like and like specific plugins that like do things rather than like creating music. And I think that's where within the sphere of music, that's where it's gonna go with AI.
You mentioned something to me before, Tomas, about this software called Density as well. And although it's not like, is it AI? It's not AI, but you can use it very cleverly. And it's kind of like, well, explain the software a bit. It's so really cool.
Density kind of takes elements of DAWs and like in MIDI and just uses that for like DJing essentially. What Density does is you plug it into your computer, but use a MIDI cable instead. And it records the MIDI, and it records your gear, like the jog wheels, the EQs, the faders as MIDI information on top of the audio. So let's say that like you're mixing, right? Or you're DJing in this case. And you're doing this transition, and it kind of like you put in like the bass a bit too early. You're like, oh shit, I didn't want to do that. In Density, you can change that because it recorded it as like as automation essentially for like the DAW users out there. It's just use it as automation basically, and you can just change that post set. We are fully snobby and purist about it, but I do see like the appeal.
Yeah, I mean it's less time consuming. Obviously, if you don't have to do a whole set again, you can just edit it after.
You can edit it after. You can even change songs. Like you can like in the software, you can just change. You can just like, you know what, I didn't really want to put that song in at this time. You can just swap it out and put a different song in it, and stuff like that. I think it's really cool. Will I use it? Probably not. But the fact that it's out there, I really appreciate that. I think that it's like really cool what they do.
So when softwares like this exist, and when AI is getting as developed as it is getting, I mean, obviously, personally, I don't believe this, but is there any point in knowing how to DJ nowadays then?
I mean, yeah, because you got turntables. Turntables still exist. Vinyl DJs still exist. We're both like vinyl DJs, like not like only vinyl, but like how's an AI gonna like, you know what I mean, like do scratching and like
robots?
Yeah, I mean, true. Yeah, like Tesla's doing their own robots now and everything, but it's stuff like that. Again, like there is an audience. There will be an audience. There is always an audience. There are people that don't care. I care about it, and that's why in some aspects I will use it, in some aspects I won't. And for DJing, it's kind of like I haven't really seen any way in which AI is incorporated into like DJing. I don't know if any of you guys have as well. Like
no, but like on a more like kind of basic level, like if you go to like a party, obviously there's a clear difference between having a real DJ there and the DJ feeding of it exactly like and just on that premises, just on that premise alone, I don't see how AI can take over DJs, because we feed off the energy. It's like synergy between the DJ and the audience, and they're feeding off each other's energy.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So. And AI is not going to be able to. Well, at this point, it's not able to read.
Honestly, you made such a good point there. 100%. Like DJing, not all of it, but like a big part of it is reading the crowd. like an AI does not have eyes, you know what I mean? Like it can take in, it takes in information, but like it doesn't take in feeling, you know, like as of yet. Like that's the thing. We always we always have to end it with that. And that's kind of the creepy part, right? Because again, like it only started to exploding in like a couple of years ago, like 3-4 years ago. So like in 10 years, who knows? Like it probably will do something along that way, and we'll see how we react to it. Ultimately, it's up to us.
Yeah, definitely. And I think touching on that fact that you need engagement, you need someone to like be able to read the room. I think there's a whole new avenue being explored as well now with obviously immersive experiences. I mean, you, Graeme, as well, you've kind of got a bit of experience with lighting as well. Like you can, do you do that simultaneously with DJing? Like do you program like a whole performance?
Yes, somewhat. Okay. So let me explain this a little bit. It's I dipped my toes into lighting design a few years ago. It was right kind of at the beginning of COVID with the explosion of these quasar science tubes. And what it is programmable LED light strips. They just look really cool. They're really versatile. And what you can do is like fly them over crowds and put them in crowds, and it just makes for that more immersive experience. And what I did was I DIY'd my own. I just actually physically built my own tubes and everything and used some free software.
It's more kind of personalized to you and stuff this as well.
Yeah. And so I programmed a bunch of different ways, a bunch of different patterns, and ran them all on a launch pad, and I could hit those while I was DJing.
I think as well with like the whole a trend of like this posting like the Sphere and like Las Vegas as well, like doing like a DJ set in there, or seeing like the crazy robots being projected whilst like some crazy trance set is being playing. Like that must be nuts to experience in real life. And obviously, Tomas, you've got kind of a bit of background with like the whole circle thing going on at the moment in LA, Mexico and Paris. Well, a bit of knowledge on it. Could you tell us more about that, like touch design and stuff, and the whole like immersive experience about that?
So with in audiovisual, like before, whereas you have like the more traditional like just like lighting, now you can kind of like incorporate it with like screens. Like Touch Designer is essentially this like software that allows you to create I guess visuals that are audio responsive. Essentially, that's like the easiest way to describe it. And they are an amazing company. It's free to download. It automatically links with your Ableton. I don't know if it does that with any other DAW, probably, but you can link it up to Ableton, and it kind of like it works as like kind of like graphic coding. So you can just kind of have these modules similar to a reactor. So you could have like a kick, for example, like that. A kick is just, usually between like 40 and like 80 hertz, for example. You can just have those specific frequencies make something happen in the visual, and then like, or you can make it rhythm based rather than frequency based, and you can just kind of like do a lot of like, you can do whatever you want, and it will make it less boring because it's a ever evolving like experience. So it's very good for live acts, like for bands. And like especially for DJs in like a very dark club, you just have like a bunch of screens everywhere that like are just changing with the set. It just takes it beyond, like it just breaks the fourth dimension essentially.
Now I was going to ask as well, because obviously you do hip hop, so that's quite different to DJing and things. But I do think there's definitely, as you were saying, an avenue for immersive experiences with hip hop as well. So if you were performing live, I'm sorry, I'm going to put you on the spot a bit here. But if you're performing live...
Spit some bars right now.
No, not as put on the spot as that, don't worry. But what would you have as your immersive experience? Like what videos or projections would you consider? Anything in specific that like resonates with your music?
Well, like hip hop has got a lot to do with like storytelling. So I guess with what Thomas said, I guess I'll just make sure that it's the colors or whatever the visuals lines up with whatever story is being told, with the setup of the song or the track.
I think the experience can help you tell a story.
Yeah.
Like, and 100%. Yeah, I never really thought about that as well. Now, lastly, my last question to you guys is going to be about your favorite kind of tool, like your go-to, your best friend. What is the tool you used all the time? That can be tights. Sorry, I'm going to bring it back again. It can be tights. It can be a microphone. What's your best friend in terms of music?
I would say a dictaphone.
What is that?
Dictaphone. I mean, you could record voice notes on your phone as well, but like I think it's an indispensable tool. Like if you've got an idea, like a beat sketch, sometimes like an idea will come to me and I'll just get my phone out and just record, the drum pattern or the melody or something like that. Or if I've got like any lyric ideas, I think
pull out your phone and show us some of your ideas.
No, you should.
No,
you
I
should.
totally feel this what he's talking about.
Yeah, man, I think
Dictaphone
I
is...
say that because I have so many on my phone that I will die with me. Nobody's ever listened
Exactly.
to them, ever.
Yeah.
But I think that's indispensable.
Notepad, dictaphone,
Yeah.
anything like that.
It's nice to just write your ideas down as well whilst you have them, because exactly, that's all where it comes from. Tomas, do you have any other tools that you might use? That's your best friend?
My best friend, I'm just gonna be basic. For me, it's my DJ mixer that I got last year, because I went through so much pain to be able to afford it. It's the XCJ XZ. So it's a standalone mixer as opposed to your typical club setup of having just a mixer and then two CJs. It's kind of like all of those three in one, and that has just made me just fall in love again with DJing, and that's why I love it so much, and I just overall it just has a very emotional aspect for me as well, because I had to save up so much money, and I even got scammed once because I tried buying it in a different country, and I lost almost €1,000 from it. Yeah, no, it was a mess. And so the fact that when I finally got it, I had this one internal tear, just an external just coming out, just being I finally have it, and I'll be pretty much happy for the rest of my life for my at-home setup. Yeah, so that's
Well, it's definitely worth it. I mean, you were talking about how much you just love fusing different types of music together, so it's perfect for that, obviously.
Exactly,
now, Graeme, is there any other than the one we've already mentioned? Is there any other tools? I mean, to be fair, it's got to be the ball for me. That's my favorite. But what's your best friend tool?
Cool. Best friend. God, this is hard. It would either have to be just my MIDI keyboard, because a majority of my writing is done on that. I mean, I just everything is done.
I've seen your studio. Of anything you could have said, your MIDI keyboard. You have the point blank MIDI keyboard in your house.
Yeah, I love it. I don't. I wish I had one.
I didn't mention that before. The sustain pedal. That's one thing I could about my piano as well. Is the sustain pedal is really important.
Makes all the difference.
Okay, so actually, since we have
so now you're
minutes,
missing out. You're the one who's lacking over here now. To be
right?
fair.
So since we're on the tip, all right. So voice messages. No. I absolutely hate people leaving me voice messages. If you send me a voice message, you've turned into a sample.
You have given up your rights.
Done. You've given up your rights.
You have
You're
no
done.
rights.
You're now a sample. So, okay. So, on that tip, maybe my Roland MX1, it's my mixer centerpiece from my whole studio. It's how I tie the DJing side to the production side. It's how I tie them together.
Cool answer.
I mean,
keyboard.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah, okay.
Cool.
that is the thing that sews the two together for me. Okay, so maybe that.
Amazing.
That's
answer.
a cooler
Thank
answer.
You.
Yeah, definitely a cooler one. Definitely, I think you was a bit disheartened with the
No,
one that
you have to go
us.
to his studio. It is literally out of all the things he would have said, I did not expect to hear a MIDI keyboard. Especially because it's the same one we have here. It's the same one we have here.
But it's so important.
It is.
It's
You're
essential, I
It
guess.
helps me get my ideas down.
Yeah, true.
And that's what has to happen. You have to get your ideas on paper.
That's where the inspiration comes from, anyway.
Or the translation of it. And that's what makes you an artist, is you have to translate that idea into something. You have to turn it into a reality.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's a lovely note to end on, I think, to be fair.
Beautiful.
But thank you all so much for joining me. It was lovely to have you all, and you've given me a lot more knowledge than I started with today, so thank you for that.
No,
Awesome.
thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Awesome.
No worries. We'll see you again soon.
Thanks.
Subscribe.
Hit like and subscribe.